This is Byers, and welcome to the Toothpaste Millionaire. This book is written by John Merrill, who is also the author of The Pushcart War. Chapter 1, My Friend Rufus. This is the story of my friend Rufus Mayflower and how he got to be a millionaire with a little help from me. With a lot of help from me, as a matter of fact, but the idea was Rufus's. Rufus's idea wasn't to become a millionaire, just to make toothpaste. He was 12 and in the 6th grade at the time. By the time Rufus goes into the 8th grade this fall, he'll have over $1 million in the bank. I don't suppose you know too many 8th graders who are millionaires, and you wouldn't know Rufus was one to look at him. He still wears the same old blue sweater. First, I'll tell you how Rufus and I got to be such good friends, since I'm white and he's black, and this seems to surprise some people. 2 years ago, the company my father works for moved from Cincinnati to Cleveland, Ohio. In Connecticut, we lived in the suburbs. You may not believe it, but up to the time we moved to Cleveland, I had never met a black person. There weren't any black families where we lived in Connecticut. But in East Cleveland, where we live now, there are quite a few. East Cleveland is an old neighborhood with big houses and lawns and trees that look 100 years old. My father says you can't buy a new house built as well as these big old houses. Our house in Cleveland has a lot more rooms than our house in Connecticut. There's a room called a conservatory, which is just for plants. And there's a huge laundry room and workshop, which came in handy when Rufus decided to make toothpaste. I didn't meet Rufus until several weeks after school started. Sometimes it's hard making new friends in a new neighborhood. The kids on my block weren't too friendly at first. It was okay at school, but after school and on weekends, it was lonely. There wasn't anybody to hang around with but my brother James, and he isn't interested in anything but model cars. If you've ever had a brother who's crazy about model cars, you know this conversation isn't very interesting. You can't even understand it. It's all about camshafts and gear ratios and RPMs. I know that if you want to make friends, you have to be friendly. And I tried. There were two girls about my age, Clem and Josie, who lived in the house next door, and I thought it would be easy to make friends with them. One afternoon, I saw them watching me pick apples from this nice old apple tree we have in the backyard, and I invited them to come over and pick some apples if they wanted. But they said no. Another time, when Clem broke her badminton racket, I called her over to ask if she wanted to borrow one of mine. But she didn't. Maybe they didn't like apples or were tired of playing badminton. But I had the feeling it was that they didn't want to be involved with me. Maybe because I was white. One of the nice things about Rufus is this. He doesn't seem to mind that I'm white and he's black. He doesn't even mind that I'm a girl. My brother James, though, can hardly stand it that I'm a girl. This can be pretty annoying in a 9-year-old boy. With Rufus, I didn't even have to try to make friends. It was if we had always had been from the first day I met him. I was riding my bike to school and the strap that I used to hold my books on the back of the bike broke. Heard my books go thunking all over the street. Well, I pulled up to the curb and was trying to figure out how to rescue the books. Papers from my notebook were blowing all over the place. Every time I ducked into the street to grab a paper, cars started honking their horns. It was the rush hour and nobody wanted to stop. Suddenly, this kid on a bike pulls up behind me. He jumps off his bike and runs in the middle of the street and puts his hands up like a traffic cop. "Take your time," he says to me. Then, when he gets the traffic under control, he helps me pick up all my stuff. Some kids who lived on my street were standing on the sidewalk laughing at the two of us crawling under cars. One of them yelled, "Hey, Rufus, you'll be late for school." Rufus didn't pay attention, except to explain to me, "That's my name, Rufus." Rufus tried to fix my broken book strap, but when he tied it together, it wasn't long enough to go around the books. "Never mind," he said, "I'll put them in my saddlebags." Rufus had these beautiful blue nylon saddlebags that fit over the carrier of his bike. "Those are neat," I said. "Where'd you get them?" "Made 'em," Rufus said. He stuffed my books into the top of the saddlebags. "Can't spill out of there," he said. "Come on, we'll see who's late for school." He waved at the kids on the sidewalk as we zoomed past them on our bikes. When I pulled up beside him at the red light, Rufus said, "I'll make you some if you get the material." "Some what?" I said. "Saddlebags," Rufus said. "You can get waterproof nylon in red, orange, blue, or black at Vince's Army and Navy." At the next traffic light, he said, "You don't need to buy leather for the straps. I got some left over for making my saddlebags. All you need is the nylon."